Hey guys, this is Michael Kelley, Sales Tips, the Daily 3. This is part 2 of episode 321. I didn't get a chance to get out the third tip, so I just wanted to finish up that video so that everybody has that third tip, because that was the basic overcoming objections video. And I know most of the time that's everybody's biggest thing is overcoming objections, which is what's stopping them from getting more sales, overcoming objections. So tip 3, well, first I'll recap. Number 1 yesterday in overcoming objections was finding the objection, which I know sounds ridiculous, but you have to first find the objection. And I'm not talking about the excuse, I'm not talking about the early interruption, I'm talking about the true reason that this person feels like they can't benefit from your product, or the true reason this person is not doing business with you there today. You need to find that out. The way you find that out is by asking questions. Now, my advice on that is to ask leading questions. You want to ask questions that you already have solutions for. So, things like in our business, we give people a certain amount of time to travel. So, something like, hey, Mrs. Johnson, so I know we've been talking about a trip to such and such destination. Do you feel like 6 months is enough time for you to make it out there? If her response is no, I know that my response is then going to be, well, if I can get you some more time to get out there, to make it more flexible for you, then can we do business today on the call? Because I'm solving her problem. Her problem was she had a fear that she wasn't going to be able to use it because she didn't think she could make it to the destination in 6 months. So my question led her in to my solution. So ask questions that lead people into the solution that you already have. And if you're a good salesman, or if you're a terrible salesman, you should sit down and you should write out the common objections that you're getting and questions that you can ask that lead them into a solution that you can give. So that was number 1 yesterday, was finding the actual objection. Number 2 was breaking down the wall. And that's basically just different terminology for building trust or rapport. You want to break down that wall between sales and people. You want to build some trust. One way I like to do that, and a very simple phrase, is, Mrs. Johnson, would you rather me talk to you as a salesman, or do you want me to talk to you as human to human? 100% of your guest guys are going to say, I want you to talk to me human to human. Everybody does. Contrary to the belief of the training in America for sales, people do not want to be sold. People do want problems solved. People do want products for the best price. And people do want value added to their lives, but they don't want to be sold. Sold sounds so dirty. It's adding value, and it's solving a problem for the guest. So you need to break down that wall and sort of get them out of the mentality of, I'm not selling you. I show some indifference. And basically that is all through the trust that you built, the rapport. Tell some jokes, get them to laugh. Guys, have fun with sales. Enjoy yourself. The guests aren't happy sometimes to begin with because they don't want to be sold. How many times have you heard, oh, what's your spiel? Because people don't want to hear the spiel. They don't want to take the time. Why do you get some objections about the timeshare tour? It's because people don't want to be sold. So people don't want to go to the timeshare tour because they know that there's going to be someone there trying to sell them. Sorry. But you need to break down that wall. You need to build up some rapport. And when you do that, you'll find out that you'll get a better connection with your guest, your prospect, and that prospect will turn into a customer. And then the third one that I was trying to get to yesterday was, excuse me. Now this is important. Third-party stories. All good salesmen should have third-party stories. Something as to the effect of, hey, Mrs. Johnson, I was just talking to Mr. Smith earlier. I sold him a package. Sorry, I had something in my throat, guys. But, hey, Mrs. Johnson, I was just talking to Mr. Smith earlier, and he bought a package from me about 8 months ago, and he just traveled down to Orlando. And funny thing, he literally called me back right as they were leaving the resort so that he could buy another one because they had such a good time and they realized how valuable our packages really are. So have an arsenal of third-party stories that you can use for different situations. It's called in sales the Jones effect. The Jones effect sorry. The Jones effect means it's like keeping up with the Joneses. It's when when you were young and your neighbor cut his grass and then all of a sudden your dad was out there cutting your grass and trimming your hedges because you're keeping up with the Joneses. Or if the family down the street buys a minivan, all of a sudden the next weekend you and your family are out at the car lot buying a minivan. It's the Jones effect. If other people are doing it, it makes people feel more comfortable to do it themselves. So if you can translate that through third-party stories that, hey, other people are doing it, or other people had the same concerns that you're having, and we solved those concerns for them, or they ended up doing it and it worked out great for them, then that helps to build that trust, and usually that will help close the sale. So guys, this was today's Daily 3 on Overcoming Objections, episode 321. If you notice, my episodes are dates. Just a lot easier to keep it that way. I'm Michael Kelley. You guys keep selling. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. Guys, this is a community. Your comments fuel the content. So please, please, please. You can subscribe, that's all great. But leave comments, because those comments are going to be what fuels the content so that everybody can get better. So if you're having trouble with something, if you're struggling with something, or if you're missing sales and you can't really figure out the reason, leave some comments below, and then we'll get together as a community and try and solve these problems so that we can all get better. We want to increase our sales, which in turn increases our income. And that's why we're here. So thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it. You guys have an awesome day. Go out there and sell some stuff. Tune back in. Episode 322 will be up shortly. I just got to upload it. And you guys have a good rest of your day. Sell, sell, sell.